Guys, it's me, Halloween Dan, and look, I'm in my work clothes, which means that this was a video I wasn't thinking I was gonna have to make, but here we are. As is no surprise, as happens absolutely every single year, there were things in my Home Depot video that I did only yesterday that are already out of date. There were things I forgot to talk about. There were things that I completely missed. There were things I didn't know I had to talk about because we didn't have any pictures. And this happens every year. I do a video. I think, yay, check, check, check. Talked about everything there. Well done. Let's put that video out. And like a couple of hours later, there are new things to see and talk about. Things that I realize I forgot about. Every single year this happens. So this is part 2 of the Home Depot leaked images that we saw only the beginning half of this week. But most of these pictures are relatively new, most of them from yesterday. So let's just get into this. So we're going to start with a couple of things to update on. We're going to start with that weird character that I couldn't figure out what he was. Someone said he's a gunslinger. He's like got a Victorian hat on. No one really was overly sure what this character actually was. Now we've seen some better images. They're still really kind of hard to tell exactly how good this guy's got to be and exactly what he is. But from the looks of it, he's got to be like a barber. Like, I'm going to guess some kind of gross barber who cuts people's throats because he's got one of those cutthroat razors in his hand. He looks like a barber in a Wild West kind of barber shop. That's what he looks to be. That would be my guess. I'm guessing he's going to have a bit of a cowboy accent with his cutthroat razor and he's going to be murdering people. That's my guess, and it definitely looks like that could be the case. We've seen some better pictures of the ogre, which I think is only looking better every time I see a new picture of the ogre. We've seen that club that he's now holding properly. It does look really quite impressive. So yay for the ogre. The pig-headed guy, we saw a better zoomed out picture. Yes, he is wearing an apron. Yes, he's got to be a butcher. Yes, he's definitely holding a butcher's knife. Could be very interesting.
Interesting.
Another interesting thing I just wanted to touch on very briefly was we did see a picture of the Frankenstein's monster from last year alongside his new bride of Frankenstein. I think his face looks less green. Like last year, one of the big critiques of the Frankenstein's monster was the face was very shiny, lime green, maybe the wrong tone of green for Frankenstein's monster. Maybe it's just the lighting, but in those pictures, he definitely had a more matte finish to him. Much less lime green, so that could be an improvement made from last year's model, but until we see some better footage, I'm not holding my breath. We've had some better pictures of the pop-up skeleton guy, the crawling skeleton that's on the rail. We can see a bit more detail around the rail itself and how it's going to actually work. It definitely looked very impressive. I still don't know how you'd hide that rail in a horn, but it looks pretty good. And there's a picture with it's got sort of purple light up eyes. So that could look really good, but I'm still very much on the fence about that guy. And the last kind of update of the things I talked about yesterday is about the 15-foot scarecrow, because I was not 100% certain that it was going to be 15 foot. And then we have these pictures that have been released from like obviously some kind of a big meeting that they're all having. And this thing is stood just to the right of the main stage. And you can see a 12-foot skelly in the same image. And this thing is just unbelievable. Its size in every single way, from the arm span to the height of the thing, is just on a whole other level. So yes, this is definitely a 15-foot prop. It looks really good in the pictures. Really impressive. So I think they might be onto a winner with that guy. Then I wanted to briefly talk about some things that I didn't talk about yesterday. New, so I had no way of knowing about them. The first two things are the things that interest me the least, in honesty. We got this weird picture that's obviously from the main meeting itself of this Easter bunny. Now this takes me back, like genuinely, I think about a year ago, I was making jokes in one of my videos about Easter bunny props. Cool things. There's randomly an Easter bunny prop, right? And the Easter Bunny's is like a 6-foot prop, and it kind of moves a bit, and it's saying, "Hello, I'm the Easter Bunny. Have an egg, children." I was saying, oh, they're gonna, the next thing they'll do is bring out an Easter Bunny prop. It's gonna be the new clown. And they've actually done it. Like, we've actually got an Easter Bunny prop. It's obviously a creepy, sort of almost zombified Easter Bunny. It's hard to tell exactly the details on this, but it's one of them creepy Easter Bunnies. It's wearing a flannel shirt. It's almost going down werewolf territory, but it's an Easter Bunny. And I don't know what you make of that. I don't know what I make of that. Could be very cool. I'm guessing they're going to make it available relatively soon, with it obviously being Easter soon. I don't know. Maybe not. But either way, it's there you have it, Easter Bunny. I called it. I said Easter Bunny. Next to it is a clown. Now, in the comments of my last video, there was at least a couple of people who said no clowns yet. I've not seen any new clowns yet. Could this be the first year without a clown in the lineup? No, obviously not. We have a clown. But I'm going to just say it. I'm not going to be down on clowns this year. This is a pretty good looking clown. This isn't too bad. It's very original. I like how it seems that this, obviously it glows in the dark. It's under a black light, so it's got a lot of glowing features here. This is quite cool. It's got a jack-in-a-box that it seems to be cranking. So maybe something comes out of the jack-in-the-box. But the really interesting feature about this clown is it's got that jack-in-a-box corrugated look to its own neck. So someone in my comments yesterday when they were talking about this, they haven't shown pictures of a clown, said that maybe the head extends up. Instead of something popping out of the jack-in-the-box, maybe the head of the clown is the thing that jumps forward. That would be really cool. That's a really cool concept. Very, very different here when we're talking about clowns. And that's what I like. It's not necessarily that I don't like clowns. It's that, well, I don't. But they're always the same. This is not. So if that's what that does, very impressive. But I think the main thing I wanted to talk about was something that I had seen in the images yesterday, but I completely forgot to talk about. And then I saw these images later on in the day and was like, oh my God, this thing actually looks really, really good. And that is this new gravedigger prop. I tell you what, Home Depot haven't just brought out a generic gravedigger. They have possibly brought out one of the best looking gravedigger props I have ever seen. So like every gravedigger, he's holding a shovel. He's got traditional gravedigger, Victorian looking outfit on. But look at this guy. I mean, just look at it. The face sculpt on it alone. We're just going to talk about the face for a minute. It's got these really terrifying, like, eyeless look to it. It hasn't actually got any eyes, or at least it doesn't look like it. It kind of reminds me of the Boogeyman, I think that's what it was, from a couple of years ago, where it had like those flaps of skin across the eyes. It's got the same look, and then these red lights inside of the eyes, which just make it look menacing and dark. It's clearly going to talk, because its mouth definitely looks like it has some ability to move, which is definitely a good thing. And it has vibes of it that this could actually have extra movement. This could have movement in the head, possibly even some movement within the arms too. But all that aside, this thing just looks incredible. This costume looks so good. The detail, the bone necklace round the neck, the detail in the costume where it kind of looks dusty and dirty, like he's been digging graves. That hat on his head, so well detailed, looks really good. This looks really, really well put together. It looks solid and firm. It doesn't look like it's going to flap about in the wind. Really, really good. Like the wispy hair, like all the other details. And then he's stood on this kind of mound of soil as well, which looks as though it lights up. Maybe the leg moves a little. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell. Do you know what I think would be really cool, and it almost looks like it could be the case within this picture, is that there's something under that mound of soil. That maybe there's like a skull or a pop-up head of some description, and that the leg actually moves up and down, and he's like pushing a skeleton under the ground. That looks like what this could do. I could be really over-exaggerating there and going beyond what it actually is, but that's what it looks like. It looks like there might be movement in his leg, and that there's a light in that seam of the soil. Why would you have that? Why would that light up unless there's actually something under there that's popping out? It would be so cool if there was a little skull of some description trying to pop out under the ground and he's forcing it back down. that could be cool, and that could be what this ends up doing. The whole look, there's not a single thing about the look of this gravedigger I don't like. I've always had a soft spot for gravediggers. I'm not really sure why I don't own one. This could be really, really good. There's probably lots of other things I've forgotten in that video. There's always going to be something that is shown later on that I'd missed or forgotten about. I don't know. It's impossible to keep up with this stuff. And it keeps on coming out and it keeps on getting better. Hey, just interrupting my own video for a moment. Because as you may have already seen, there is footage now that I didn't see until after I recorded this first little bit of the video. I went back to work and then I was like, oh, the Psychotic Circus of Savannah has actually seen some live footage and has posted it, and now people have seen that. So I'm just interjecting here for a minute. I'm still at work, just so that I can show that I have seen this stuff too. I have seen it. It does look very cool. We've got that Raven Reaper guy that's just got some very basic movement. I can't hear very much of what they're saying, but you can see the mouth moving quite clearly in the little snippet. The witch looks very good. I like the eyes. The little tiny bit of footage you see, she does look like her eyes are blinking. Don't know whether it's quite a Lethal Lily blink or it's just an LCD blink. I'm not sure, but it still looks pretty cool.
The very trees of this witchwood.
We do also see Chucky and his bride, but the bride isn't working. Tiffany's not working. Chucky's moving, but the movement's definitely more basic than what the old Chucky from last year did. Or at least it looks that way. And we also see that Bluetooth skeleton, which got lots of movement, just like Grimm had lots of movement. So hopefully that's all very positive stuff. It looks pretty cool. What do you think? And you will notice as well, someone did say as well, I think it's a ploy that they make their first few pictures kind of grainy because it gets you hooked and interested. You're right, isn't it? Their more recent pictures are definitely better quality. But I don't know, what do you guys think? Are any of those interesting to you? Do you think they're really cool? I've heard lots of comments back from my last video, but it'll be interesting to see what you now make of these slightly updated things and also those things I didn't talk about. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them, particularly that gravedigger. Let me know in the comments. But for now, guys, I will see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.